Getting some serious old school Zoella vibes from this hair right now. Let's sort this damn mess out. Hi everyone, my name is Jess and today I'm going to be talking about a book series that I really should have read about a decade ago. Like, let's be real, I'm 19 years old. I should have read The Mortal Instruments before this. Before about November time, I had never read anything by Cassandra Clare, and I know that is a big saying. I finished it last night and I have some thoughts about it. So this video is going to be split into two different parts. The first part is going to be like a little review, but a non-spoiler review. So I'm not going to be talking about anything that might spoil you for the series or potentially any other series of Cassandra Clare's, because first of all, I haven't read any other series, and also because I just want to give my overall feelings about it. So if you haven't finished the series or haven't even read them, then that's fine. I won't spoil you for the first part, and then I will warn you once I get onto the spoilery bit. Cool. Let's get into it. To start off, I felt like I should give my overall rating of the series, the Mortal Instruments, you know, the one that everyone loves. My rating was 4 out of 5 stars, which, to be honest, I think is very generous. Considering how I was feeling at the start of when I started reading the series and compared to how I feel now, that, you know, my whole opinion's changed and I have a bit to say about it. I just want to say I can absolutely understand why this series, this author, these characters are so beloved by so many people. I can honestly, hand on heart, say I understand now. There are definitely a lot of lovable things about this series. I love the characters. I think they're really well fleshed out and everyone is so vivid. I love the whole like united aspect of the characters, and that was carried on well, really well through the whole series, I feel. There was a lot of development, you know, especially from characters like Jace and Alec, and I can really see why everyone connects to these characters, even though the world is so different from anything else really. Like, I've never really read anything like it. I love the whole angels and demons and that sort of thing. I really, really like that, and I like how complex the world is, and you get introduced to how complex the world is straight away. Sometimes I did feel it was a bit too complex, especially towards the beginning where you're just thrown in and you're just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, can we stop a minute and just go back to the whole demons are a real thing? The thing I will say, I didn't like it at first. I started reading City of Bones, and even through City of Ashes, like the first couple of books, I was just not feeling it, but I was determined to carry on because I knew everyone loved it so much. I didn't like Cassandra Clare's writing style. It felt very tell and not show. There was always a lot of description, like heavy description, but it definitely got better. The thing that I really liked about this series is the fact that you can actually see her quality of writing get better, which is something that I love. I will definitely stick up for that. You know, not everyone's going to be great at writing and their debut novel might not be that good, but she improved, and that's the most important thing. It's not like there's still books coming out that are just exactly the same and a bit shit, you know, because they wouldn't still be coming out if that was true. She's so much improved, and I can't wait to read her latest releases, and I can definitely say that I feel a lot better about the series as it went on. So if you start reading the series and you're not into the writing style that much, like I wasn't, try and carry on if you can, because it does definitely get better. Another thing that I didn't so much like about the Mortal Instruments, and I'm sure this will carry on into the other series as well, like I haven't read them, I don't know anything about them, but I'm sure this will carry on in them, is that there's just so much shipping between the characters. To some extent, a lot of romance in teen fiction is completely normal, because honestly, when you're in high school or whatever, everyone dates everyone. It's like Glee. Everyone just dates everyone, and that's fine. However, it's just sometimes too much, and I would have liked it if someone had been left single, or someone had taken some more time to develop their own selves. But I know that all the characters are like 17, and to me now that seems ridiculous, because I would no way have been able to handle all of that shit at 16 like Clary did. Can I just say? I think that's all for my non-spoiler section of my City of Bones review. There were some really good points and some really bad points, but At the end of the series, overall, I just really felt connected to it. I felt like there was a lot of development had happened and a lot had, come full circle, and I felt very satisfied with the whole series at the end of it, which is all you can ask for, really. So I'm definitely giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. So the next part of the video is actually going to be like a spoiler-full discussion about some of the things that I liked and disliked specifically about the Mortal Instruments series. If you don't want to be spoiled for anything within the series, then please stop watching, and thank you. See you later. So bye, non-spoiler people. Okay, I have my notes. So the first thing I wrote down was that Jace's background, his upbringing, his heritage, the whole name thing, especially at the end, was very, like, I can understand, and the plot points were very interesting, and it sort of paved the way, especially the Herondale thing, like, it paved the way for a lot of the new series, which I completely understand. But it got really, like, tedious and boring and confusing at the end. Like, with this whole, like, where did he come from? Whose son is he? What's his name? So he was technically a Herondale, taken by Valentine, and then raised as if he was a Wayland? What? Okay, another thing that made it sort of confusing and sometimes hard to keep up with was the amount of characters. And I understand with world building, obviously you have to bring in a lot of characters to keep things moving, to keep the world realistic. Sometimes there was just sort of, they bring in characters with no explanation, and it was like, here, have more people you have to remember. Okay, I'm gonna just go for it. I'm just gonna say it. Why was there so much incest in this series? Cassandra Clare, what is wrong? Are you okay? Like, is that what you think romance should be like? Because it's not. It's really not. So after I read City of Bones for the first time, I went and watched the film. And obviously in the film, it says within the film that they are not brother and sister. Jace and Clary, I'm talking about. So when it gets revealed that they're brother and sister, and everyone's like, what the fuck, but they were like making out, and that's disgusting. And I watched the film, and obviously you know that they're not really, because there's that connection, and surely no one would write that connection if they're actually brother and sister. And so you know in your head that it's not real and it's a lie, and in the film they confirm that it's a lie. But I was reading all the way through City of Ashes, and I was like, where's the reveal that they're not actually brother and sister? Like, and why do they keep making out? It's disgusting. I was fully aware that they're not really brother and sister. Like, you know that in the back of your mind. You're like, well, they're not, because they're just not. But the fact that they thought they were, and all this stuff was still happening, and then they went straight back into, like, being together. If you thought someone was your sibling for, like, I don't know how long it was, like months, like a year or something, maybe a few months, if you actually believe that in your heart for so long, and then someone comes around and they're like, oh, by the way, you're not brother and sister, you wouldn't just straight away go back and bang, would you? Like, would you? Surely it would take some time to, like, rewire your brain to be like, okay, I can actually date this person, it's acceptable. But no, Jace didn't care. And also, don't even get me started on Sebastian / Jonathan. Okay, I know he was a psychopath, and, like, he didn't understand that he should not want to bang his sister, but he still did. Like, he wanted to, and he threatened it, and it was gross, and it made me very uncomfortable. Okay, can we talk about Simon for a moment? I love Simon. I love him so much. He is exactly the type of character I would love and fall for. And what happened to him was not okay. There were so many things that happened to him that were not okay, and he is too pure for this world, and I love him. I literally have a list written down here that says people that deserved better, and I'm about to talk to you about them. First of all, Simon, as I was just saying, Simon deserved so much better. He deserved not to become a vampire and go through all that pain of, dying and hunger and having to eat his friends. He should have not had his mother kick him out and his sister and mother forget who he was. He should not have had to go through all of that stuff with Clary and, you know, love her, and then she doesn't love him back, and then he shouldn't have had his memories taken away and be made a human again. Like, I know it was okay in the end, but it was not fair, and I just want better for him. Okay? Or the next two people that deserve better, Jordan Kyle and Maya. Jordan Kyle deserved so much better. His death ruined me. I loved Jordan. Like, he made some mistakes in his life, but he was out of control when he made them, and he regretted it every day, and he literally gave his life over to this organisation to help other people so that it wouldn't happen to other people. Like, Jordan Kyle was also really good at keeping secrets, and that was a good plot twist that he, you know, like, was a werewolf and all that. Like, I love that. And Maya, like, I love their relationship, and I love, like, how she was trying to learn to forgive him because she understood what was wrong, and they were getting together, and then she was gonna tell him the truth about breaking up with him, and then he died, and I didn't really like how Maya was sort of ended up with that at the end, though. Like, I wish she'd stayed single for longer and sort of gotten over everything first, but that's whatever. And the final person that deserved better is Julian Blackthorne. Like, he literally came in the last book, and so much shit happened to him. He did not deserve all that stuff. To have his family taken away, like his parents both dead. No, he had to kill his father. Like, what? He's 12 years old, and then he has to go and look after his brothers and sisters because his biggest sister, who's supposed to look after him, gets taken away to some icy wasteland in Russia or something. Okay. Another point that I wrote down is that I did prefer the first trilogy because apparently The Mortal Instruments was originally written as a first trilogy, and then she was gonna, like, leave it there. So City of Bones, City of Ashes and City of Glass were supposed to be, like, one set trilogy, and then she sort of came back to it and wrote the second trilogy that has City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire. I preferred the first trilogy, I think, purely because it was a lot more simple. I love origin stories and world building. Like, that's one of my favourite things about fantasy and sci-fi and all those sort of things. I love introducing a world and having a mundane, like, character literally thrust into it and being like, what the shit is happening now? This is the world I'm living in. I love that. Like, I eat that up. So I enjoyed that. Obviously, I didn't prefer the writing style so much in the first trilogy. I definitely preferred the writing in the second trilogy because it was more developed. But, yeah, and Valentine as a villain, I did enjoy. I thought it was a good plot twist. You know, the plot twists were there. I liked how he was evil enough to make two people that were clearly in love make them think that they were brother and sister. Like, that is evil. But I also liked the fact that he's still human and all he wanted was his family. And that did carry over with Sebastian as the villain, but also not really, because he was actually, like, not a real human. He was, like, part demon, and that just sort of ruined it for me because, like, the only parts of him that were human enough to be weaknesses were parts that he just thought should be weaknesses. Like, he just wanted the power over his family rather than his family to actually love him, and what Valentine wanted made sense to me, and what Sebastian wanted was just like, I just want everything. Another thing I wasn't so much loving was the fact that Clary literally killed Valentine with her bare hands, or, like, you know, she killed him, and at no point in the series, there was, like, one point where someone spoke about it, like, you don't feel bad for killing him, and she was like, no, and that was it. Like, do you know what I mean? She just killed him and didn't feel bad about it, but then when Sebastian died, she was, like, crying over it, and I get that he, like, turned back into Jonathan, and that was real sad because it was a life that he never had, but, like, Valentine genuinely cared about her. He was evil, and he definitely was a massive bitch, but he did care about her, and he was her biological father. And Sebastian was just plain evil. Like, he genuinely had less human in him than anyone else. And also, side note, the thing about Clary and Jace both having angel blood? Is that how you describe it? I feel like that was not developed enough, and it came in very handy with certain plot points, like with Jace's heavenly fire and Clary's runes, but I feel like there was a lot of things that should, because, okay, so Sebastian thought that because he had been given, and he had Lilith's blood in him, that she was like his mother, so why didn't the angel whose blood the other two had in them feel like they were his children, you know? Like, there was no real connection to the angels, there was a lot more connection to the demons, and I'm sure that's metaphorical for something, but I don't really know what right now. The last point I want to make is that a lot of things, especially in the last book, could have been left unsaid. Like, everything was wrapped up really lovely, and, you know, everyone was back together, and that scene by the lake at the end was really cute, but like, some things could have been left open. Like, I would have wished the scene with Simon should have ended literally as they went up to Simon, you know, as Magnus went up to Simon and was like, I have a proposition for you. I would have loved that. That gives me room to think in my head, like, oh my god, what's going to happen? He's going to say yes? Is he blah blah blah? Like that. I love that. I didn't really want everything to be fixed at the end. There were things left open for the other series, but it felt like nothing was open to interpretation for this series. It just ended and everything was wrapped up, and sometimes that's not as good as leaving things open to interpretation for the reader. And that's all I'm going to say about that, and I'm finally going to finish this. That was my review and discussion on the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. If you liked this video, please go down and give it a like. I was about to say go downstairs. Go downstairs and give it a like. And if you agreed or disagreed with anything that I said, then please leave a comment. Also, if you're going to talk about any of the other Cassandra Clare series in the comments, please don't spoil me. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!